Okay, so rather foolishly, I chose to actually watch some of the videos that were in my YouTube algorithm, and in particular, I chose to watch Computing Forever's Captain Marvel: The Aftermath video. So I had assumed that people like Dave, and world class bullshitters and whatnot would just be hating on Captain Marvel and have been hating on her for months now. But I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt and actually listen to him, and it was worse than I thought it was. It really was. So Dave didn't actually see Captain Marvel. No. He didn't actually see Captain Marvel. What he chose to do was he listened to a bunch of other reviewers. I think including like Kurt Stuckman and Jeremy, which are two reviewers so bland I would rather go back to watching Doug Walker, like Doug Walker's current bad Nostalgia Critic content. I would rather watch the current Nostalgia Critic while jerking off to Linkara's Muppet porn while reading the not so awesome document while laughing hysterically, rereading like Allison's Firing over and over again. Because say what you will about the channel Awesome People, at least they're interesting. So he quotes those two. He quotes a bunch of other fucking people I'd never fucking heard of before, who most of which really didn't even hate the movie. They just kind of said it was blah. It was just kind of meh. And he then proceeded to rant and rave about feminism and liberalism for 18 minutes straight. I got about 8 minutes in before turning the freaking video off. So the reason I'm making this video is I've kind of got a bone to pick with this guy, and I've had a bone to pick with him for a while, and this confirmed it. I would have so much more respect for this opinion if he'd actually seen the fucking movie. He didn't. He saw a bunch of other reviewers and then just ranted and raved about feminism and liberalism. My problem with Dave Cullen, Computing Forever, whatever he calls himself, is that even when I agree with him, I've noticed this guy before because he had a couple videos talking about Star Trek Discovery, Star Wars, like The Last Jedi stuff, and the new Doctor Who. And he would say things that I would agree with. He was basically complaining about how, there's like a crazy far-left takeover and all these different things. He was complaining about the accusations of, fans being sexist in Star Wars, people, the same accusations that were being, that Les Moonves and the Discovery people were lobbing at Star Trek fans, and the same stuff that the BBC has been lobbing at them. He complained about this stuff that I agree with, but at the end of the day, there was always a venom in his attitude, and basically it seemed like he really just has a bone to pick with liberals and feminists, and that's really what it boils down to. He just wants to scream about that, and it's like, what bothers me is that it's like, okay, buddy, I'm a liberal and I'm seeing the same problem, and yet. He feels the need to I just got this sinking feeling about this guy, that this guy isn't really a science fiction fan. This guy really doesn't care about the fact that the quality of storytelling in Star Wars or Star Trek has been declining. What really matters to him is that basically he's a conservative and he's got a bone to pick with liberals, and this is just a bandwagon he's jumping on. I only see this guy pop up when, there's some kind of controversy goes on. It's like he doesn't and this confirmed it for me. He didn't watch the movie. He didn't watch it. He just heard a bunch of other people complain about it and then just went on for 18 minutes. 18 minutes screaming about feminism and how women think they've got it so rough and this, that, and the other, and just started screaming and screaming about it. It's like, you didn't even watch the movie. You didn't even watch the fucking movie. God forbid you watch the movie. Because if you watch the movie, you might like it and you might not have a video to make. That's really what it fucking boils down to. He references and goes on and on about the scenes I talked about. The scenes where she flashes back to her time in basic training, or the time where she's a kid and whatnot, and was and these men told her that she couldn't do it and whatnot, and he goes on and on and on about it like it's the worst thing. Okay, and as a guy who's actually watched the movie, less than 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes. It's over. It's done. The rest of the movie is both men and women kicking ass equally. He goes on ranting, it's probably about her triumphantly fighting against the patriarchy. No, fucker! If you'd watched the movie, there's no patriarchy. The bad guy and the villain are the fucking Kree, who, by the way, are co-ed. The movie starts off, spoiler alert for Captain Marvel now. The movie starts off with the villains being the Skrulls, which he didn't even freaking cement that. He didn't even realize that, too, because didn't watch the fucking movie. And then you find out the Skrulls aren't really the bad guys. The Skrulls were just defending themselves. The real bad guys are the Kree, or at least the Kree military, specifically Jude Law's character, his little team of Kree, which include both men and women, including a really badass Kree sniper lady, Chiron from Guardians of the Galaxy, the Supreme Intelligence, which, if you follow the comics, has a masculine form in the form of a big giant head, which we never see because it chooses to be like whatever it wants to be, and in the case of this movie, it chooses to be exclusively a woman, and Ronan the Accuser. Those are your villains for the movie, and Thanos, technically, if you count the ending sequence. That's it. Those are the villains. There's no patriarchy. The Kree are co-ed. There's an actual story here, which he would bother to know if he'd actually seen the movie. The real reason I'm making this video is I'm basically saying I'm calling this guy out. Dave Cullen, Computing Forever, this guy is not a nerd. He doesn't actually care about the fact that what we're experiencing right now from these big corporations is genuinely bad storytelling. No, he is a conservative and a voice piece for the right and has a bone to pick with the left. That's it. So he likes to scream about liberals and scream about feminism for that frickin' reason. The only reason he jumps into the party and is jumping on this outrage bandwagon that everybody's getting on right now is like, oh, it's liberals. I can have a chance to fucking rant about liberals. That's his entire fucking show. He doesn't actually freaking... That's not... And the thing is, if he actually were intelligent, he would actually realize what's really going on here, what we're seeing out of Hollywood, is not really a liberal takeover. It's a deflection argument. Again, all these franchises, every single one, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, and Marvel, have always been left-leaning. Hollywood has always been left-leaning. Yeah, you'll have a conservative creator here or there, but they've always endorsed values that, we support black people and people of different ethnicities. We support gay people. We support women. It's always been about inclusion. Those are liberal values. Those are things that we care about. And yeah, that's always been there. In recent years, it seemed like there's been kind of a sharper turn, further left than center, which has been problematic, and I agree. But what's really happening in the case of Star Wars is the fact of the matter is Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson made a bad movie. They made 2 bad movies. And the fans called them out on it. And so they fired back, well, you just can't handle a female character. It's a deflection argument. The fact of the matter is, Les Moonves made a bad freaking Star Trek show. A bad Star Trek show that had nothing to do with what the fans wanted and made no freaking sense. Gave Spock a sister we never knew he had. Turned the Klingons into fucking demons. They all look like a rejected version of Kratos from God of War. Whatever they look like, they don't sure as hell look like Klingons. And the fans had a problem with it. Oh, you just can't handle a female lead. Oh, you mean like a little person called Captain Janeway? Which is one of the most beloved freaking Star Trek characters of all time, regardless of all the problems with that show. Oh, not to mention 7 of 9, the breakout character of that show. Not to mention Counselor Troy, Dr. Crusher, Kate Polanski, Ro Lauren, frickin' Jadzia Dax, Ezri Dax, Kira fucking Nerys, one of my favorite female characters in all of Star Trek. Not to mention the Ladies of Enterprise. Not to mention Uhura, Nurse Chapel, or new Uhura in the Kelvin timeline. There's been tons of female characters that we love and support. So yeah, it was a bullshit deflection argument, especially if you follow went on with CBS. The fact that Les Moonves was actually accused of sexually harassing people. It's a deflection argument. Most of the problems that we see in identity politics, historically the problems that we have with race, are really class issues. But the wealthy 1%, basically, in order to keep people from coming after them with pitchforks and torques, basically claim that, no, it's not the rich that are taking your jobs. No, it's the Mexicans. Oh, no, it's not them. It's the black people. Oh, or, it's about what they do is they basically get races to hate on each other and fight each other so we don't fight them. A lot of this comes down to class warfare more than anything else. And what we're experiencing right now in Hollywood is the same shit. It's deflection. These people aren't really progressives. They aren't really liberals. But they know if they claim that someone or some group is basically being sexist or racist, they'll get a bunch of liberal-minded people to support them. And the reason why people flock to that is, at the end of the day, liberal values are in keeping with basic human decency. And my problem with people like Dave Cullen and the viewpoints he espouses is that the logical conclusion and the slippery slope he rides on is basically being a jackass. This is a perfect case. He hasn't even seen the movie. If he did, he probably would have loved it. He probably would have thought it would be really, really awesome. And instead, he watches a bunch of other people and then just starts to rant about feminism for hours, not having any clue what he's talking about. Not having seen anything else in the movie. No, he just fixates on that. And at the end of the day, he's ranting and raving about something he knows nothing about. And he acts like a fucking jackass. And look, I get it. I get where men's rights activists are coming from. I'm a fan of Karen Strawn. I understand. I totally understand. I don't like people like Anita Sarkeesian. I don't like the people that are screaming that as a white man I have privilege. I think that's bullshit. I'm for tolerance of everybody. I'm for basically everybody getting along. That's what we should be looking for. But so I understand basically wanting rejecting the far left extremism, but what he's asking for is basically just the further rejection of it. He gets so upset about this and so pissed off at feminism that at the end of the day it really just sounds like, yeah, you just got an axe to grind. Yes, you're right. Some women do exaggerate the problems they have. It doesn't change the fact. And yes, there are men that have plenty of problems too. It doesn't change the fact that women still have problems as well. There's a reason why this stuff resonates with people. But no, he doesn't want to fucking do that. He hasn't even fucking given the damn movie a chance. And before we even start, yeah, okay, you know what? There's certain movies I haven't given a chance either. But you know what? I have my reasons for them, and I'll explain them right now. I haven't seen Wonder Woman, and I haven't seen Aquaman. Why haven't I seen those movies? Oh, do I think they're just shit? It's like, well, I may have had that attitude a little while ago. No, I think those movies are probably really good. And you know how I know that? Because I watch other people. I watch other people and I gauge their reactions. They're like, no, we really liked it. And the overwhelming positive impact from Wonder Woman and Aquaman say, there's probably something in there I would like. Why don't I watch them then? Man of Steel. That's why. I hated Man of Steel. I absolutely hated Man of Steel. And it basically told me and set the precedence for me that Warner Brothers doesn't know what it's doing in terms of DC Comics. And so I'm like, no, I'm not checking this out. I'm not doing that. And I've been basically boycotting them ever since. I may actually rescind that boycott when it comes to Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Of the fact that basically those two movies have turned around. But also, the rest of the movies in the series have been consistently bad. BVS was bad. Pretty much everybody who saw it said it was bad. I've seen enough of it. I've seen bits and pieces and bad. So I know it's bad. Suicide Squad I actually did watch because me and other Josh were hanging out for my birthday one time. And what we did for my birthday was we got drunk and we watched bad movies. And that motherfucker made me watch Suicide Squad, and I made him watch Yoga Hosers. So we're both bad friends. But that's how I saw it, and yeah, it's bad. But you know what? It wasn't completely bad. There were certain things I liked about it. I liked Margot Robbie's chemistry, and I liked Will Smith's chemistry with each other, and Jai Courtney. A few moments when the villains just had a moment to breathe and talk, it was cool. When it was Enchantress fucking dancing, and that was bad. And on top of that, there's another scene too. I think Diablo breaking free from the Enchantress illusion was a really good character moment. As much as I hate the DCEU, as much as I do not like that universe or that interpretation of DC Comics, his whole "this isn't real" was awesome. He was so adamant and so in tune with his own soul and what he had done to his family, about that betrayal that he'd committed on his own family members, that he said, no, he was not falling for it. He had that level of will and that level of heroism, and that's a really cool move in a shitty movie. But, I'll give that movie props for that. Justice League, kind of same thing as before. I've seen enough of it. Yeah, bad. But, yeah, I've heard a couple people complain about Wonder Woman, a couple people complain about Aquaman, mostly the Dishonored, Wolf, and Red Letter Media. And, given what I've heard, I may not like it either. But I've also heard a lot of people I trust, talk about how great it was. Wonder Woman came out when I was at sea, and pretty much everybody on my ship saw it and loved it, and I'm like, nope, I'm not seeing it, because I don't like the universe she's in. And I'll concede that. Based off of other people I've spoken to, people like Howard, people like other Josh. Other Josh saw Aquaman and freaking loved it, and admits it has flaws. And based on the assessment they've given me, it's they're starting to make better movies. And I'll give it, I still am no hero to see those movies because I don't like the universe they're in. I just don't like the world that they've made up based off of that. It's hard for me to get invested in that. But I can concede those are probably good movies. And maybe one day I'll give them a shot. And I've been saying for a while now what DC Comics should do is just freaking jettison all the other movies in the franchise and just say, okay, start with Wonder Woman. Say Wonder Woman's your Iron Man. And say that and Aquaman are canon and go from there. And they'll probably work out. I'm still predicting Shazam's bad, but we know what a Nostradamus I am. For all I know, it'll be great. Whatever. But the point is, it's yeah, those are my reasons for not seeing that. I can actually look outside of it and see that the movie is quality. He can't freaking do that because he has a freaking thing to sell. All he wants to do is that. And he's also, I was waiting for the freaking, the Rotten Tomatoes score, and it's what I expected. Well, yeah, I got it right here, which I don't think anybody can see. No, nobody can see it. Nobody can see it on my crappy camera. But you can check it for yourself. The date is 3/14/2019, and as of right now, it's 79% critics rating, 62% audience rating, which is both positive. People do like this movie. Some people do have a problem with it. Maybe it's people like world-class bullshitters and other people that are in like this anti-feminist rut because of The Last Jedi, which I helped build. And, like, yeah, so, but I'm sorry, everything I've seen of Dave Cullen and Computing Forever suggests this is a guy that just wants to scream about liberals and hate on liberals and embracing this outrage culture. Any example of a strong woman, or any example of what would be considered modern feminism or whatnot, he's gonna fucking decry as the worst thing ever and over-exaggerate it. And he hasn't even freaking seen the movie. And listen, man, you got a right to your opinion. You got a right to your opinion, Dave, but you know what? I'd have so much more respect for your opinion if you'd actually gone out there and watched the movie. You're a critic, right? You're a movie critic, right? Or are you a political commentator? What are you? What are you? You talk about movies enough, well, that would make you a movie critic. So go see the movie. Or you could fucking download it illegally. Some people I know very close have done things for that for movies we didn't like. Yeah. You could do something like it. You could find some other way to do it. You could pay for a movie you actually want to support and then go see it if you're not sure about it. Go ahead. Go freaking buy a ticket for Medea's family funeral if you want. Go do that. You don't want to support that? Okay, buy a ticket for Green Room or something like anything. How to Train Your Dragon, whatever. I don't forget what number they're at right now. Or, go do that. Go do that. You'll have my respect if you actually go to the movie and say, I still didn't like it. As of right now, no. You're just ranting and raving about the same kind of ideology that you're pushing. You want to rant and rave about how the liberals are pushing identity politics? You're doing the exact same shit. You're an extremist. And you're no good. You're just as bad as the Anita Sarkeesians of the world, man. You're no good. And I'm done fucking watching you. Yeah, I'm glad you and I could casually agree that we didn't like the direction in Star Wars and Star Trek, but you don't really care about Star Wars. You don't really care about Star Trek. You don't care about any geek culture. You don't care about Marvel. You don't care about Doctor Who. You care about fucking screaming about liberals. Well, as a liberal, I'm not fucking cool with that. I'm not cool with that. I can see the same problems in that media that you can. But no, you won't even fucking dignify me with that. You're just gonna be a punk. So, yeah, no, I'm done watching you. Your fucking channel is trash. And yeah, you know what? You do have better editing and better production values than me. Yeah, including your gay-ass little cartoon character. But at least I actually freaking watch the movies that I review. Unlike you. I'm sorry, man. I'm disappointed in you. I'm real disappointed in you. I thought you were better than that. No, you just freaking like, you were all set to hate this thing instead of actually giving it a chance. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. You would freaking like you would be more impressive to me if you'd actually freaking give the damn thing a chance. Like, I'm not saying you have to like it. I'm saying, like, watch the movie. Freaking illegally download it or something like that if you have to. Freaking, like, go, like, pay a ticket for another movie. I don't know. Get a friend to freaking pay your ticket for it. I don't know. Do whatever you got to do. If you think God forbid, you're going to support the matriarchy or the woke folks, go ahead. Freaking do that, man. But like, actually do your job and review the movie instead of reviewing instead of just like using it as a freaking like soapbox to rant your political ideology and agenda, because that is what you have. Now, my main thing here was to rant about him. I still haven't watched World Class Bullshitter's commentary on this. I still haven't watched Midnight's Edge. I'm kind of afraid to now. I am. But like, I think like part of the issue here is that like, I think I was there with everybody when The Last Jedi came out and Solo came out and how bad it was. I was right there, like, on, especially, like, the backlash being, like, the studio started calling us sexist for not liking the movie. I was totally there on that. I think we were right. I think World Class Bullshitters was right to call that out. I think Midnight's Edge was right to call that out. I think Abu Nas and all the other people out there that was right to do that. There's tons of great people that really got their YouTube career started because of The Last Jedi. Some good came out of it. We found like a cause, and we found something genuinely going on in Hollywood that we didn't like, and we're doing our best to affect change on it. Basically, letting them know as a consumer, well, this isn't okay. But the thing is, it's like, I don't understand how you guys keep up with it. It's like, I got 30 freaking subs, bad production values, and it's like, and mostly I just do D&D stuff. Yeah, I don't have much of a channel here. And I probably could have really made it big for myself if I kept on ranting more about Star Wars. I didn't do that. Why? I ran out of steam. It's like, yeah, at a certain point I'm like, okay, Star Wars is not in good hands right now. This is not good stuff. There's not really much else I can say about it. But I think a lot of these people got a taste of it and got a taste of a little bit of fame, and they needed to keep that energy going. So a lot of these guys kept on talking about it. They kept on talking about Star Wars, and if they can find new material, they can at least be funny or whatnot. All the success in the world to the people like Jeremy, Abu Nas, I Live in Hyperspace, all you guys, Mark with a C, like you guys, I much love, you guys are awesome, but I just couldn't freaking do it. Like World Class Bullshitters, like his whole thing, like he would go and rant, like, about the state of what's going on, and then he'd go and find these shill articles. People kept on finding these shill articles of people supporting the Disney Star Wars stuff, and it's like, how do you freaking do this to yourself? How do you freaking... I don't quite understand that. It's like, I mean, it's pretty clear that people... from what I've seen, it's pretty clear that most people do not like The Last Jedi. That might be presumptuous in me saying that. There are people that do like it, but I think based on it, it's like, well, of course, the fandom is definitely divided. I think it's more divided. I think most people that are honest with themselves, including casuals, do not like this movie. They're like, even if they don't hate it, like a lot of us do, they're not feeling it. They're not feeling this direction that they're going in, whether they voice it or not. Because some of them have lives and don't feel the need to bitch about things on the internet. I don't know. I don't know what I just said right now. But, like, they don't like it. They don't like it. So, like... I get you got these shills that are making these articles, and maybe they're paid by Disney and paid to do this crap. Maybe it's their honest opinion. Who knows? But it's like, why are you reading it? It feels like a lot of these guys are just mining for more outrage. It's like it's created an industry where we can be outraged at the state of things and just feed on that. But it's like, okay, think about it. A lot of these people are article writers. I'm sorry. Do people read anymore? Reading? Oh, my ancestors 1,000 years ago picked up those things called books, long before we had MP3 players, long before the internet. Who reads anymore? I engage in hyperbole to make a point. I still read comics and books, but it takes me forever. This is so much easier. It really is. It's sad. So many English teachers crying. So many crying, and nobody reads anymore. Do you guys really freaking, like, go out there and get your freaking... Is that really how you spend your time? Do you really... I mean, like, did you really... I guess maybe it's my disconnect. I don't go looking for this material. I don't go looking for articles to read. Whether it be entertainment news or shills or things like that. Why would I go and read something that's going to make me upset? I don't know how you guys do it. And I suspect the problem is that you guys found an industry for yourselves that basically worked, and... So you got to keep it going. And I suspect if World Class Bullshit is doing what I think he's been doing for the past 9 months, is he's taken that one comment from Brie Larson and has just stretched it and stretched it and stretched it and made this outrage porn for people to consume. And you got a whole host of people waiting to hate this freaking movie without even giving it a chance. Which I inoculated myself from not watching his stuff. And it's like, what's the fucking point? Other than to keep yourself relevant. And that's why I don't do that. And probably to my detriment. I probably should be doing shit like that. I probably should be doing exactly what Dave Cullen's doing. I should probably just be, like, bitching and moaning about Star Wars to the end of time. I should probably go watch, like Episode 9 when it comes out and let y'all know how bad it is. Ain't gonna do that. Not gonna do that. No, I made my statement on this many months ago. Year ago. I basically said, look, I'm gonna watch Solo and see if Solo's good, I'll stick with Star Wars. If it's not good, I'm done. Guess what? Solo wasn't good. I'm done. I will not support Disney Star Wars. I'm not doing it. I will not be supporting... I will not see Episode 9. I might comment on it, but... no. I'll probably watch someone else, some other unfortunate reviewer who basically goes to see it. But, I do not care how the Rey storyline ends. I don't care how Kylo's story arc ends. As far as I'm concerned, it's done. That's how bad The Last Jedi was. There's nothing more to say. And it's an unfortunate, sad end for every reason that people listed before, myself included. I can't do this. I don't understand how you guys can be outraged about this going forward, other than you have started a YouTube career and you got to keep that energy going. Okay. I wish you guys had something better to do for that, though. And I hope you guys do. Geeks and Gamers has always, like, talked about, like, freaking... You know, a lot of you guys will talk about just movies in general. Mark with a C will do that. Abunas will do that. A lot of you guys just talk about movies in general. And so I support that. But yeah, the reason why mostly this channel is nothing but role-playing content that nobody freaking watches is because that's what I'm passionate about. I like role-playing games. I like playing them. I like hanging out with my friends. I want to create something. I want to tell stories. I want to have fun. And yeah, maybe no one will care about it but me and my friends, but that's all we need at the end of the day. That's why I've been doing that. That's why I don't do these reviews that often. But I can't do that crap. And I suspect that might be where people like World Class Bullshitters are coming from. He needs something to talk about. And again, I hope he's not as bad as Dave is, but it's like, you know, I mean... Yeah, I just feel like we created this outrage culture where it just all we're doing is just getting pissed off at shit. Myself included, obviously. Where we're reacting to things and getting fumed, and we wonder why our politics is shit. We wonder why there's nobody freaking in the middle talking. We wonder why it's Democrat or Republican. It's like Chris Rock said, man. It's like Chris Rock said like 15 fucking years ago. Everybody got a gang mentality. I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. I'm a liberal. I'm a conservative. Fuck you. Fuck you. No decent person is one thing. People are complex. That's why I'm moderate for the win, man. Okay. But long and short of it is, I watched someone else's opinion on this and was horribly disappointed. And I was at least hoping, what I was hoping Dave would have done, what he would have saw in the movie, would have actually seen the movie, and blown the feminist stuff way out of proportion. I would have, you know what? Okay, fine. At least he saw the movie. No, he didn't even do that. You know why? He ain't a sci-fi fan. He doesn't really care. He's trying to push his agenda. And for that, I'm not watching him again. You have lost a fan, Dave Cullen. You know, you probably don't want me anyway. Anyway, this is the Dread Pirate, and I'm pissed off. Catch y'all later.